and welcome to Shoreline Music Monthly. My name is Mark Koschwitz. We are taping tonight episode 73. It's our third back after our year and a half off, so I hope you found us again. We're kind of hitting our stride again, I think. We're going to be here, try and be here monthly again for you folks out there. And a reminder that we do post on our Facebook and in our website a guide where some of the folks that you've seen already on the show and some of the folks that you will hopefully see in the future, where they will be playing each weekend in our area here of the wonderful Connecticut River Valley. Our guest tonight is he's not a stranger to you folks. He almost feels a little bit like a co-host, I think. He's been on, I believe, and I think we were counting before the show. I believe that this is number 5, I think, counting the Black Friday promo tapings and things that you have graced us here. I am with Mr. Brian Wolf. Welcome to the show.
It's really nice to be here. Yeah, it feels like home.
Yes.
Well, it actually is pretty close to home. I probably could have walked.
Yeah. Well, driving's good. It's dark out now.
That's true. I could have come up the beach, though.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They cut right through. Yeah, nice. Right. So I mentioned that you've been on a few times. You've been on with the Ebin-Rose Trio.
Right. The Wyrd Brothers.
The Wyrd Brothers. Now you are, I guess, I understand for the first time actually, this is actually put out a solo EP with singing, and because if you've got Rose to lean on, you don't need to sing.
Yeah, and even Peter, because I never sang in the Wyrd Brothers.
Yeah.
So it was really Bobo who tricked me, kind of. I was sitting drinking coffee, which I do in the morning.
It's a wise maneuver.
Yeah, coffee's good in the morning. And he called me. Usually he texts me, and a lot of times he's really good with emojis. I don't know if you ever heard. He very, very rarely will use words. Usually it's like just these little things, and I sit there and I'm bad
guilty of that myself.
I don't, and I really know what they mean. I look at them and I go, it's like a squirrel and a birthday cake and a champagne bottle. I mean, I don't know what it means. I don't know. But he called me up and he said that this person had heard some of our music and wanted me to write a song for a movie soundtrack. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, and all I have to do is pay him $5,000, and I can get my song in his movie that's going to be released in Bulgaria. But it turned out it was actually a legitimate thing, and I contacted him, and there's going to be this movie. It keeps getting pushed back because of COVID.
Yes, everything.
But I wrote the song, and I ended up singing it. And then I had this orphan kind of song because I didn't know what to do with it. It wasn't an Ebin-Rose song. It wasn't a Wyrd Brothers song. And because I was known as BEPW on Facebook, I decided, which was Brian Eben Parker Wolf, I just decided to perform, to do the Passage EP. And because I had those 2 instrumentals, the Passage instrumentals, and perform under the name BEPW. And that's how it just all kind of came together real quick.
I did get to witness the part of the, at least the Playing in Traffic tour, which, I was amused by that title.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought that would be kind of catchy. Was playing in traffic, because that was a great idea. The folks that decided they would have all the first Thursday and first Friday and have music up and down the main streets of all the towns up in Middletown and Clinton, and Bob Bobby D was doing it up in Norwalk. He's been doing it even before COVID and after. He's been doing it forever, and so just doing those, and I dubbed mine playing in traffic, and that was great fun. And the ones in Clinton, you played a lot of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those
yes,
were good.
I love the idea that Clinton has a little, thing downtown, bring people down, the shops stay open. I get to see folks like you play in traffic, and
I love that little spot that Lorraine put me in front of the
right
Fringe.
in front of Fringe.
Fringe was perfect
Cool.
at used clothing store, because I mean this is a 50s jacket. I love used clothing. I love old used guitars, used clothing, used cars, everything. I don't like anything new.
So writing, it was, you had the instrumentals already, the one for the soundtrack. How do you approach that? Did they give you, did they let you know what they needed? Was it supposed to convey an emotion, or was it the lyrics need to hammer some point, or how did?
That was great fun. So I called the producer up, and I hit it off with him right away. I really like him a lot, and I'm going to be kind of general about the movie, but essentially it's a kind of it's like an I'm going to have a hard time saying that word because I have these problems with language.
Apocalyptic?
Thank you. Yes,
sir.
And but in essence, the sun is dying, and that's never a good thing.
No,
because we
use that.
We use the sun for a lot of things. Heat, I guess, is one of the biggies. And there's this scientist who has this idea on how he's going to save the sun. Unfortunately, he also has a son that's very ill, and he's trying to physically, save his son while he's trying to save the sun. But he's being stymied by motorcycle gangs who are rogue, who are taking over the country. But it seems that they are being controlled by some sinister force of some sort.
It sounds like the kind of stuff me and the missus watch on Sunday afternoons.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we'll have to give it a spin.
So he wanted this. That was kind of the setup for the movie, and he said that the key lyrics he wanted me to hit on were whiskey, outlaws, save the sun, save my son, and NASA. And he wanted me to cover it in about a minute. And I was like, well, I basically can't even say that in a minute. And so it's probably going to be around 2 minutes. And so we were just kind of talking, and I said, I kind of like this idea, pour me whiskey for breakfast with my morning tea. Soon I'll be putting some distance between these outlaws and me.
Whiskey for breakfast with my morning tea. Soon I'll be putting some distance between these outlaws and me. I discarded most all my history. I'm beyond fear, I've moved on. Once bright as the sun, how can I save the whole world if I can't save my son? The deeper I go, It's a part of the great mystery. I've discarded most all my history. I'm beyond fear, I've moved on. I'm beyond fear, I've moved on.
I don't think I mean, you've been on several times. I don't know if I've ever actually got around to asking you what actually ever just, I mean, what was the spark with music in general? I mean,
My brother had a guitar when I was growing up.
okay, so you had an older brother who,
Yeah, but he never played it. He just had a
Just
guitar.
had it.
He just had it, but he was really into music, and so he always played records all the time, and so I always was hearing music, and he turned me on to Buddy Holly and Elvis Presley and Gary U.S. Bonds, and he had some. There were other records that I heard. Harlem Nocturne by the Viscounts was this instrumental, this haunting instrumental, and there was this other really obscure song they used to play all the time by this Gino is a Coward. I remember that song. He had played the Everly Brothers too. It was big Everly Brothers.
so you grew up hearing a lot in the house and just,
Yeah. And my grandfather played in the big bands. My grandfather played with I think Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there was music around, but it was really the Beatles. I mean, I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and my parents took me to Shea to see the Beatles. And so
Wow.
it was at that point, it was just,
this is my thing.
yeah, the cake was pretty much baked, and that was pretty much all I ever wanted to do. And I was, I was at that age where I was just so lucky, and I was in New Haven, hanging out, and I got to see Hendrix. I got to see that whole summer being at Yale. I didn't go to Yale, but I was hanging out at Yale, and I got to see Hendrix at that string of concerts at Woolsey Hall were Cream, Hendrix, Jeff Beck Band with Rod Stewart and Ron Wood, and
killing me over here.
traffic at the old hockey rink, and so just all that great music. So
Yeah, that'll lock that right in.
yeah, and I talk about how there was just such a wide range of music. Like one day, if you just take from like the Beatles, and and then just to like 1970, and that span of time, and you could be into just so much music. Like one day you're playing the Beatles, and then you're playing Jangle Bird's music, and then the next thing you know, you're listening to Albert King and B.B. King and Buddy Guy, and it's like, and then you're listening to Pentangle and Bert Jansch, and Fairport Convention, and then you're listening, now you're listening to Nick Drake, and now you're, and then you're listening to, and then all of a sudden the world changes, and you're listening to the New York Dolls, and you're listening to Lou Reed, and you're listening to, it's like, where does it?
Rich time.
Yeah, everything just comes together, and then now I'm sitting in a chair, and I'm 70 years old, and it's like I've got this encyclopedia worth of music that at any given time I just don't know which volume I'm going to pull out of my head, and I don't even consciously pull it out of my head. I don't know, I don't know what chapter or what book it's going to. I start to play something, and that song Hideaway. Ed Maxson from No Depression was talking about. It's like a 2-minute song, and I don't hear it, but he talked about how that one song was drawing, and he heard it, he said this whole spectrum of stuff from Pearls Before Swine ESP New York punk to Jefferson Airplane San Francisco, like in this one song kind of thing. And again, I don't know it. It wasn't anything. It was just he heard.
Not intentional.
No, I couldn't do anything. I got the car here. That was pretty intentional.
Well, we're glad you did, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
When I call you up, you seem distracted. Once every word was a point of attraction. I can't find a place to hide away. I can't find a reason to stay. Out in the streets, it's down to fractions. Headlights illuminate the traction. I can't find a place to hide away. I can't find a reason to stay. I can't find a reason to stay. I can't find a reason to stay. I can't find one reason.
If you would indulge me, because I know that I have never gotten to play From the Hip with you, which is just a silly game where I ask less interviewee questions. And if you don't mind doing that.
I'm game.
All right. I would give it a go.
No math, though.
There's none.
Okay.
Zero math. Well, actually, that's a lie, because the first question that I thought I would ask is how many different states you have lived in.
Oh, wow. You mean like actually had an address in?
Well, whichever way you define living.
Connecticut.
Okay.
I spent a couple of months living in an ashram in Bloomington, Indiana, but no, I'd say really Connecticut.
All right.
I
Very
loved
nice.
living in Connecticut because I could go to Boston, New York, and be home.
What would you say is your favorite, or not your favorite, but the songwriter that influences you the most?
Depends on the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, yeah, it's not fair. I mean, yeah, it's not. It's impossible. It's
Okay.
impossible.
We don't want to blow up our guest.
I could give you. I could do five. I could give you a short list.
Okay.
I would say Dylan, Neil Young, Nick Drake.
I knew Nick was going to make it in there.
Yeah, Nick's going to make it in there. And it's weird because there's people like Johnny Thunders, who's not a great he's not a great lyricist, but the way he took his lyrics and he combined it with his guitar playing, he's in there because he's a songwriter. And so there's always you always have to take into account the people who they're not known for their lyrics, but the way their lyrics worked with their guitar playing. And Neil Young's kind of that way a little bit too.
I like Neil Young when he's turned up really loud. What would your favorite beach for finding sea glass be?
No, I'll never tell.
Oh, come on, man. I see the booty you get all the time. I figured I could get that out of you. I'm going to be retired soon, you know. I'm going to be out there.
I tell you what, I'll take you there, but I'm
Okay. All right.
Because
We
the
don't
peop-
want the whole world to know.
Well, because the people who live on it would not like that.
Okay, fair enough. As I've just ordered my favorite just 2 days ago, because it is that time of year, what is your favorite pie?
My favorite pie.
In Mark's world, this is pie season. We're into that, fall, Thanksgiving, Christmas, all that stuff.
I would have to say that my absolute favorite pie in this world is my wife Rose's apple pie.
Okay.
But I'm being very specific. It's her apple pie. It's
not apple pie.
It's not apple pie.
Well, there
It's-
are bad apple pies.
It's her apple pie.
I mean, my favorite's the maple pecan pie, but it's got to be made by Mary at Old Orchard Farm.
I'm
get it.
I'm in absolute recovery from sugar, so
Pick your spots.
I avoid sugar at all cost.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many different musical instruments would you say you play?
Oh, okay. Well, I pretty much played the guitar and the mandolin.
Okay. I think I remember a tipple at some point.
Okay, yeah, I do play the tipple, yeah,
Okay.
and I use the dulcimer. I don't know that I actually play the dulcimer, but I can use the dulcimer.
Okay. Well, they do make that a little easier for us because key, fret, dimension and stuff. So
yeah.
it helps a little. And then the one I always have to ask, which is kind of silly, but. And you don't like sugar, so probably no. But cannolis, yes or no?
I'm not a big cannoli fan. They're a little too sweet for me.
Okay, good man. And just one more before we wrap it up and get to music.
Boy, I thought this was going to be harder.
It's very easy. It's very easy. It's just breezy. We like breezy.
Breezy.
It's breezy
You
and
can ask
easy.
me like my favorite car.
Do you recall what the first music you ever bought with your own money was?
Oh, yes, I do. I remember going to the record store and buying the very first 45 I ever bought in my life.
And?
I'm going to drag it out.
Yes,
you know?
yes, you're building the suspense. I see that.
Johnny Horton, The Battle of New Orleans.
All right, I did not see that coming.
I was young.
Yeah, very cool.
You know, I was a young kid. I think I was like, I was a young kid, kindergarten, first, second grade or something. Do you remember that song?
I do.
We ran through the briars, ran through the bushes, we ran where a rabbit couldn't go, ran so fast the hounds couldn't catch us, from Mississippi to the Gulf of Mexico or something. Because Davy Alamo, what was that? Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
He was on TV. You know,
Yeah.
I had a Davy Crockett hat. You know, you wouldn't know I was like this anti-gun pacifist kind of,
But it's Davy Crockett.
vegetarian kind of kid. When I was a little kid, I used to walk around with a Davy Crockett hat and a blunderbuss in my hand,
All right. Well, thank you for indulging me in my silly
Well,
little
thank you
game.
for indulging me for a TV show,
All right. Well, thank you all once again for watching. This was episode 73. 74, I believe, is going to lean toward being one of our green screen adventures. We'll go back into the vaults and find some songs from some past artists that didn't quite make it into their shows, maybe. We had that whole big span of time where we weren't here, so it seems like a long time since we've done it, even though it hasn't been that many episodes. But until we see you again, please remember you are the local in the local music scene. So please get out and see a show. Stay safe, and we will see you next month. Thanks for watching.
Down on my luck and my soul inspiration. Are you out there tonight, station man? The summer is gone, I fear isolation. Are you out there tonight, station man? My heart is beating like a man on the run. I believe my greater creation's the yet to come. Open the door, I need a